What are some of the challenges that you've experienced when setting up Rutledge Drilling?
Attracting the right people, because you need to have good, highly skilled people, but not having enough money to actually employ those people that are highly skilled. I won't buy secondhand again, and I won't buy cheap again. Very expensive lessons. Trying to save money cost me a lot of money. Bought an excavator that probably costs just a bit over $100,000 for the excavator, because it was $40,000 cheaper than the other one that I should have got, and probably cost me $100,000 in downtime.
Wow. I'm Mike the Broda, and this is TerraQUIP Talk. After years of providing drilling equipment solutions, I know that a project success hinges on reliable, high-quality rigs that meet your needs. So if you're ready to make smarter equipment decisions and build stronger foundations, let's get started. We are at episode number 8. I'm really excited about this, man. It's going to be a super exciting episode. And the reason being, we actually have a guest, and that is James Rutledge from Rutledge Drilling. He's the managing director and the owner of the company. I've known James for a few years now, and I gotta say, James, credit to you for accepting to do this. A lot of the people, they're willing to give us the good feedback, but not necessarily willing to talk in front of the cameras. So thank you for that, and welcome.
No worries. Thanks for having me along. Thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it. Yeah, like you said, a couple of years, and watching your business grow at the same time as ours is something, a journey that we're probably both on together.
Actually, just speaking about, I want to touch base on this because this is so important. You said about growing together, and I feel like it's not just a simple word. It's actually Marini's motto, growing together, and this is exactly what we've done since the start of our relationship as well. We continue our growth with Marini as well as with Rutledge Drilling, and I'm really glad, guys, to say, but it's really important here. James actually just ordered a mast attachment as well from us, an MRA 100, and that basically means that you've got pretty much the entire Marini segment. You've got the MR2PN, which is a skid-mounted rig. You've got the drifter on it. You got the rotary for downhole hammer. You've got the Marini MRC20, the complete micro drilling rig, and now you've got the mast attachment for the excavators.
Yeah. So we've got 7 of the MR2 PNs now.
7, wow,
So
that's fantastic.
bringing us to, we got 11 drills in total, and 9 of them are Marini, and there's a very good reason for that. You go to your quality. It's not just about the machine itself. It's about what happens after you buy the machine.
Yeah.
And that, like, if something goes wrong, I can call you anytime, you'll answer. If it's something more technical about the machine, I can call Luca or Fabio from Marini, and they'll answer my call. And it's, you don't get that in a lot of places, and that's something that really sets companies apart. And I'd rather pay more for a machine, whether it's Marini or something else, for that relationship with
That relationship, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And being able to not only be in touch with us, but also be in touch with essentially the people that build it from Marini. I did mention in one of the episodes having that promptness, being prompt to the client and being accessible for the client. I mean, pretty much 2 of the 3 owners from Marini directly. You've visited the factory. By the way, how was the factory? We're just going a little bit off script here, but that's okay. How was it? How was the experience at the factory?
Oh, it's amazing. Like the guys over there, when I went over for geofluid, they looked after us. They took us out, showed us the local area. They showed us through the factory, how they sort all their parts and their equipment, what they had planned. And some of those plans, since we've been there, they've expanded as well. And really, when I was there, like Luca and Fabio talking about where they actually want the business to grow, and that their focus was more on quality rather than growing into a massive company, which is important for us because that's the same sort of view we have.
It aligns with your values, doesn't it?
Yeah, we don't want to be the biggest or anything like that, but we do want to be producing the highest quality work.
And of course we are, all of us are about growth, but we're about that healthy organic growth rather than that sort of, inflated, I guess, artificial, all of a sudden growth that you can't really maintain and you can't really manage.
Yeah, I was talking about this with a couple of people a few days ago, where if we do good quality work and we have good, well-trained staff, that we're going to get a good reputation. Off the back of the reputation, we'll get more work, more people, or more skilled people will want to work with us. And as it grows, from the larger jobs, we'll make more profit. So the profit is a byproduct of having, quality equipment and quality team.
Absolutely.
Not the end goal. It's the byproduct of it.
Absolutely, James. And you spoke a little bit, you just touched base there on the name. Can you tell me a little bit like how did you start? When did Rutledge Drilling started, and how did you start per se in the drilling industry? What brought you to the drilling industry?
Yeah, so I suppose I'll start at what got me into the industry, which is not really something I planned. The company I was working for,
Aren't we all like that?
yeah. So somehow I got unlucky enough to fall into this. But no, my brother was
Quote
doing it.
unquote unlucky enough.
My brother was in the industry. He'd been in it for about a
John,
year
right?
or
Yeah.
so. Yeah, Jonathan, and I had 2 weeks left on my lease in Brisbane. The company that I was working for was getting bought out by another company, and I didn't really want to go across to them. And yeah, my brother rang me up and said, "I'm going to run a job in Singapore. There's a position over here." And with that, I had a backpack and
So they contacted you. Your brother contacted you for another position in Singapore.
no, in New Zealand. So I was pretty much he was going over. They were looking for guys over there, and
Okay.
I just packed a proper backpack and a
And off
carry on
you
bag,
went in New
and that
Zealand.
was it.
Yeah.
And was there for about 18 months.
Okay.
Came back over here and really enjoyed what it was. I went through a lot of jobs and then finally found something that really interests me, and then decided that I want to do this myself and start a business. And the first couple of years, I was in business where it wasn't just a family company.
Okay.
After a little while, what wasn't the right fit for me, and that
It
so
wasn't right for you being a co-founder, being with someone to share partnership.
yeah, and like family is very important to me. So having it as a family-owned
Okay.
business and a family-run business was very
Was paramount to
very
you. Yeah.
yeah, and so I had to make a decision that that's what was best. And from there, my mother Linda, she does all the administration, management, and all of that.
Linda very well. Yeah.
Very, very good at all of that. And for a while until my partner and I had a kid, was the project management. My brother's been involved. My sister-in-law's involved. So it's a very family-orientated company.
Absolutely, and the same with TerraQUIP. So when I started, it was just my father and I back in 2018. And had it not been for my dad, I don't think I would have started. And that was simply because I could have started, but it was about giving me that I guess confidence that I've got someone that I can rely on next to me,
Yeah.
and having someone from the family was so important, and it contributed so much into what TerraQuip is today. I have so much respect and admiration, for my dad for that. So I'm sure it's the same for you with your family.
Yeah. I wouldn't have got to where we are. Like, it's us. It's not me doing this. It's us as a family, and I don't want to do the cliche. I'd like to thank my mum and dad sort of thing, but it is them that the way been brought up and the help that they gave at the start, and
Oh,
then
absolutely.
committing to it 100% to be involved in it.
I think I've met you, James, in back in 2021, end of 2021, August, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's a while back. I remember that
It
was
was one of your old offices. It wasn't at your house.
yeah. Just trying to remember when that was. I remember the first time that I met you and Luca at the in Brisbane. I'm just trying to remember
But
the
we met before that, yeah, at your
yeah.
previous office,
Yeah.
where you were telling me about the very old drilling rig, how it like saved you a fortune, and it actually did really, really well.
Yeah, so this old Ingersoll Rand LM100 that I picked up for 11 grand, and I think I paid it off in the first 2 days. I got really lucky on a first job with some redrills on that had to go through the grout, and it just it's still one of my favorite drills.
I remember that
It's
story because at that time, obviously as a salesperson, you're always trying to assess the situation and the client, the potential client, right? And what it can bring to the, right? You focus on the sales, right? You focus on, so I was just sort of thinking, I was like, I don't know if James is ever going to become, our client, Marini, they're a premium product, and then much to my surprise, like you became, one of our best clients, and we've had such a good relationship with the skid mounted rigs, as we said, with the MR2PNs, then with the micro drilling rig, with the MRC20, and then now with the mass attachment for the excavator.
yeah. It's I mean it's we get them because I think they're the best. It's on the market. So,
That's great to hear.
and it's very important, and the relationship that we have is very important because I'd say we get along quite well, and we're friends, and we can even out of work, take for example the golf day that you've sponsored 2 years
Yeah.
in a row now. That's something really close to my heart. Raising money for the Marta Little Miracles. And you guys are there. You fly up. You're there at the event,
Absolutely.
and it's noticed.
And we're going to be there again next year if that's happening again next year.
Yeah, it'll be happening every year.
It will be
So,
happening every year.
every
Good
year,
on you.
yeah.
That's fantastic.
So
What a great thing to do. I know it's something very. I know the story. I know it's something very close to your heart. But I think it's so important to try to look to do other projects. I guess they're that are helping someone or a community or a particular field. I guess.
Yeah, I think like going back onto that golf day, I think the first one, it, I think it's important to note that like you flew out from Sydney, but Luca, one of the owners of Marini, was in Japan and wasn't meant to
Correct.
come to Australia at the time.
Yeah, we were together
And
in Japan, and then I flew first, and then he flew second. Yeah, he
yeah,
came
and
from Japan to be there.
yeah,
Yeah,
flew over for the golf day to be there,
yeah,
to support it, and then jumped on a plane the next day to keep going to New Zealand
to
where he
New
was
Zealand.
actually
Yeah,
meant to be. So,
he planned
it's
in such a way to be there. Yeah,
yeah, and it's
as I said, it gives us our values align. It's not just like we see the similarities and we're all for the same, I guess, purpose. So it gives us great pleasure to be a part of that.
and it just makes me realize that I'm dealing with good people, not just trying to sell me something. It's the type of person I'm dealing with makes a huge impact on me.
Absolutely. That plays a huge role as well, for sure.
So we've gone through why I'm doing this and how I got into it. So what's your story? How did you get into it, and why you're passionate about it?
I was being totally honest when I said to you, didn't we all get into it by mistake? Because I did get into it by mistake, in honesty. I was looking for a job. I was at a point in my career where I didn't really know what to do. Technically I'm a mechanical engineer, but I've never been a brilliant one. But I've always liked to make, the social aspect of it. So someone actually gave me the idea of, well, you're a mechanical engineer and you like the social aspect of it, so basically sales. You could become a mechanical sales engineer. And I was like, mechanical sales engineer, what the hell is that? So I started researching, I started applying for jobs, got help from career advisors, and I ended up working for another Italian manufacturer, that predominantly drilling rigs and piling rigs. And when I first saw them, and because I was doing my research before their interview, I thought they were so impressive, so interesting, and so challenging as well, so provocative. And I really like the machines. I've never really been a huge fan of your excavators or compactors or crane. I found them a little bit boring, but there's something about drilling rigs, be it a micro drilling rig or a piling rig, that I think it's very interesting, dangerous as well, unique too. So I instantly got attracted by that, and I got hired by that company, and the sales director at the time, he asked me, he goes like, you've been working here for the last 2-3 months. He goes like, do you like these machines? And I was like, yeah, I actually do. I love these machines. I love talking about it. I love comparing them. I love looking at production. I love talking to the people and being on site. And I love the combination of factors, and of fields that the drilling brings together, because you've got mechanics, you got hydraulics, you've got electrics, you got electronics, right? You got fluids mechanics. So all of this, I mean, we need 5-10 lives, to learn everything about it, and we probably won't, right? There's so much to learn every single day, and it's never boring. I
It's
remember
huge.
one of the times that I visited you with Luca in Brisbane. You were on quite a significant project, which I hope we have time. We're going to touch base on that as well, because it's such an iconic project. But what I remember was distinct about that was we called you to catch up, and you're like, "Yep, just no worries, we'll catch up." And then when we went to have dinner, you actually went. Your entire family was traveling to be with you on that particular project where you're managing it. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. Like, he's got so much support. They're so close as a family. It's something, definitely, something to admire.
Yeah, that was a tough time, the start of that job.
Was it?
My son had just been born; he was 3 months premature, and we're kicking
Oh,
off
that's
one of the
right. Yeah.
biggest projects we'd ever done.
Undertake, yeah.
Yeah,
Undertook.
and it was good because my brother came across to help because it was a pretty trying time for us. There was, my mum was involved.
Yeah.
We were staying in an Airbnb 100 meters from the
From the
job
job
site,
site, yeah, I
but
remember.
still close enough that we could get to the Mater Hospital if we needed to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a really challenging time, but we had the support and even the guys that pulled together and stepped up to make sure the project went well.
Yeah, for sure. As I said, it was a very iconic project, I think, for Brisbane Council, for Brisbane in general, and it was an area, let's say, with huge attention for everybody and a lot of safety. Had to be prioritized there because of where it was located. You're drilling off the side of the cliff, and I've actually got some nice photos and videos from there. Maybe I'll share within this video.
Yeah, so we're straight above Fallon's Brewery, where we had 5 to 10,000 people walking below the site every
Every
day,
day,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the way we had to stage the work, to keep everything safe, keep the public safe, keep our guys safe, and all the infrastructure that was down below it took a lot of planning, a lot of organisation, and at the end of it, the job came off really well, and it looks great, and.
Not to be a salesperson, but can you talk a little bit about? I mean, you've had at some point, I think, 6 different skid-mounted Marini MR2PNs, pneumatic skid-mounted rigs off the side of that cliff. Can you talk a little bit about the role that the Marini equipment has played in, let's say, the growth of your company and the success of this such projects?
Yeah, definitely. Like the reason we get the skid drills from Marini is the reliability. That
I mean, they're
they,
such a
they
simple rig, right? When you look at it,
yeah
like, how is this, like, however much it costs?
yeah, and like I can take that pretty much every component of that drill, and I can take it back to the workshop. I can strip it apart. I can rebuild it. Providing I got the spares there, and it's to pull apart a feed motor and rebuild it. It's an hour. And that
Yeah.
the top hammer, you a couple of hours and completely rebuild the thing. It's such simple, effective equipment, and like the what we see compared to some others is the maintenance costs are so low, and that like you pump a bit of grease into it, and it keeps going. It's a workhorse.
And weight versus capability, I think it's something that you guys like a lot about this kid-mounted rig.
Yeah, because you're only looking 400, 450 kilos. It's all pneumatic, so you don't have all the hydraulic weight.
Yeah.
We had 6 of them going at once, and on the Howard Smith Wharf project, and we would not have been able to do the job.
Had it not been for the MR2PNs.
Yeah. So we weren't allowed to close any of the area below to put EWPs in. You couldn't reach them with an excavator from the top, so everything was
It was
rope
quite high,
access.
yeah.
Yeah, so we were
What was
25,
it, like
30 meters.
20 something meters? Yeah.
Yeah, so it varied in spots, but it's and vertical, some spots slightly overhung as well. So it had its challenges. It was a great project, and one that I'm very proud of.
After I established the IMT name, I was after a good micro drilling rig supplier. We wanted to be able to offer the equipment to drill the holes, let's say 300 millimeters and under, what I call micro drilling, right? So be it anchoring, soil nails, underpinning, whatever, you name it. So I started working with Marini end of 2020, like right through COVID, and it was the only deal I've done. It was I have never actually met with Marini, right? I have heard about them from other dealers, from the previous dealers that they had, but never actually knew exactly, how they are and what they are. So I had to do a little bit of research. However, what was absolutely mind blowing for me was the instant request that we had for this MR2PNs and how successful they are. You know yourself, like your company purchased 6 or 7 of them, right?
Seven, six,
7.
six through you, and but we have 7.
You
Yeah,
had one before, so
yeah,
7 units in total, and that's out of about 50 that we sold in the span of about 4 years. So it's by far the most successful drilling rig that we sell. Of course, it's one of the most cost-effective ones as well, but that's besides the point. I mean, you look at it, it's just so simple, and you just go like, it's not much to it, but there's so much engineering and refinement and trial and error that has been put into that machine. I'm not sure if Luca ever spoke to you about this, but it underwent so many changes throughout the year to become the machine that you've seen today.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It shows like, and if I talk to Luke, I've shown him a couple of things of slight improvements, and they were taken on board, and
They'll take it on board. Yeah, they listen, right?
yeah,
That's so important.
it's not like you're calling, some random company up saying this could be better, and you get shrugged off. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, because they have like multiple layers of management, which in some cases is great to work with big companies, but in some cases it's so nice, for the company to be big enough to support you, but small enough that you can actually like reach people and have accessible people, in the senior level and be in direct contact with them.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about relationships.
Yeah.
And yeah, you don't have relationships with someone that's constantly replaced in a company all the time. It's you build a relationship with like our relationship, the relationship with Luca and Fabio.
I was just gonna say about this. I think it was one time when I had to leave the meeting a little bit earlier. Something happened, and you ended up staying a little bit longer with Luca. And then when I caught up with Luca a few days later, I said like, how did you go with James towards the end? He said like, man, he goes like he's really happy with us. He mentioned, he said with Mike, it's more than just a supplier for me. It's more like a friend. And I was like, yeah, that's right. That's what I want to hear. This is what we're all about. Like building that relationship and being able to create those friendships. Within the industry, within our network.
Yeah, I think the glasses of scotch in that meeting helped out a lot.
Or the good services provided by TerraQUIP. I'm just kidding. No, yeah, for sure. That's important as well. So you started Rutledge Drilling in 2019?
Rutledge Drilling was 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What are some of the challenges, if you can talk about, like that you've experienced when setting up Rutledge Drilling, and how did you manage to overcome them?
I think anyone that started a business will say cash flow. That's
absolutely number one.
Always hard. When you get suppliers that you help you out, and it happens where some will be really good, some will be, this is exactly 30 days you need to pay. Others will be like, yeah, look, we can help you out on this. And it's I remember you doing this, helping us out a little bit with
deferred payment plans,
and things so that we could order
absolutely.
It. Spending the money on a drill at the time was a huge amount of money. It's still a lot of money, but at the time it was a decent percentage of our revenue. So yeah, having that at the start was hard to overcome. Other things, I guess, as a startup company was attracting the right people. It was hard because
as in employees,
yeah, because you need to have good, highly skilled people, but not having enough money to actually employ those people that are highly skilled.
Not being able to afford them, yeah.
Yeah, it was
a problem in itself.
It was definitely a real challenge. And we've overcome that now, where we're getting to a much bigger size. We've got a good reputation. People are wanting to work with us. So it's a lot easier to find staff now as well than it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But there is a skill set missing in the industry of being able to determine, do I need to do top hammer here? Do I need to do casing here? Do I need to do open hole drilling here? Should I change to a clay bit? Do I need to put augers on? What's the best for this ground? And it's like anyone can drill a hole in perfect ground when it's rock. It really is that thing of, being able to
managing that diversity of layers, right?
Yeah.
And of situations.
And that doesn't just change on one hole; it changes during the hole. So if you're doing a 12-meter hole, you could be going through something that drills perfectly, and then you're struggling for a meter, and then it drills even better than the start, and then you can't get through the rest of the hole because the hole keeps collapsing because of something that happened 10,000 years ago. And
it's interesting, isn't it? Right? Like, I mean, they do say that geology is such a boring topic. I don't think so. Like, I'm one of the weird ones that I found it very
it's interesting to a certain degree. Yeah, yeah. I don't really want to go and pick up rocks, but but yeah, I like what we do, and I'm really glad that I found this industry because it's something that I doing it.
I
It's
don't
like
see
that.
myself doing anything else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
I'm the
see
same.
myself. And I went through a lot of different things. Like went from the army to the mines, working underground with explosives. I went to a chemical plant.
Wow.
Then I was doing high risk training, things like that. And then as soon as I got to this industry, I was like, this is it. Yeah,
This is it.
this is
Yeah,
what I
I
want to
was
do.
exactly the same,
Grant,
man.
I
And
start.
very early on.
Granted, I started on a job where the first day was jumping a helicopter, go up to the top of the site, and you're 400 meters above the ocean. It was pretty
Wow.
cool. It was a lot of fun, that job. But
Do you like heights? Do you like the?
I'm fine with setting my ropes up and going down the side of a cliff. Doesn't bother me at all. Leaning on a handrail in a skyrise, yeah, I'm not comfortable with it.
Okay.
So when I've sorted it out myself, I'm very comfortable. When it's the apprentice on a Friday afternoon put the handrail in and just wanted to go to the pub. That's where
Different
it's like
story.
this. Yeah, I didn't do this, so I don't really trust it. It all comes down to the type of business we're running, that it is starting to attract more people and more skilled people, and the time we're putting into training
Existing people in the company.
existing people. Yeah, like for our industry, our turnover's really low. Slow stabilization. You ask anyone at the other companies, turnover and staff is huge because it's contract based. They go from contract to contract, and but most of our staff, I'd say 90% of them, have been with us over a year, 50% over 2 years, and for a 3-year-old company, that's most of its life. So no, we're very very proud of our retention rate, and yeah, and where the guys are getting to now in the way of making sure their quality's good, their training's good, they're doing things the way that we want to do it, and it's building us quite a good reputation within the industry.
Were you stressed going through these challenges? Going through like cash flow? Were you stressed? Were you able to sleep at night?
I have woken up in the middle of the night having to go to the bathroom from feeling that stressed. That's only once or twice.
But that's pretty good. In a few years, that's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely have our stressful times. Like right now, got a daughter due in about a week. I'm trying to build a house. We're starting multiple projects. And yeah, right now is a stressful time, but it's all manageable. We got a good team, and that helps. It's a very strong team. It's a small tight team, but it's very effective, and it takes a lot of the load off now.
Of the owner, of the managing director.
Yeah, and and off Linda as well, because she's owns half the company as well. So it's she feels it as much as I do with the stress. But yeah, it's with the people we've got, it makes it a hell of a lot easier. So.
Just quickly, need reliable drilling equipment for your next project? At TerraQUIP Drilling Equipment, we offer tailored solutions with top-tier support to meet your project needs. Contact us using the links in the show notes to find the perfect equipment for your drilling project. Now back to the episode. Now going back a little bit to the, I feel like this is really, really interesting and really important to explore a bit, because yeah, it's all great to work with a family. You can trust them, they're reliable, whatever, they give you the confidence, you feel like you're not alone. But there are some challenges working with a family, and some people don't really like to employ family in the business. I was actually listening to a podcast where the guy said it's actually one of the worst things I've seen. Never hire family and nepotism and things like that. What was your experience? How was it for you to work? Because you're the managing director, and then basically your mother, Linda, was like under you. How did you navigate that sort of aspect of the...
Probably clear up that it's never Linda. Oh, sorry, I always say Linda. It's for habit now, but my mother.
I say the same.
Definitely
John,
on the.
I never say my dad. Yeah.
Definitely on the same level. Like it's not. I don't work above her. We make decisions together. It's us together doing this.
Did you find it difficult at the beginning to kind of like, I guess, what's the word? Just have a professional relationship with her as well as being part of the family?
No, actually, we work great together. We get along great. There's never been any dramas there. Like my brother was with us for about a year, and that me and him on site working together, we're great. Sometimes when it comes to some of the office stuff, he doesn't enjoy doing that. Sometimes you get a little bit of a disagreement, but nothing that wasn't able to be worked out, on the spot. So it was never a problem. I can see how in other families it can be,
Yeah,
but
like for me, like although I have a great relationship with my father at the beginning, me being the son, so I would always like look up to him. All of a sudden, I mean, I was in this position of making the decision, especially because my dad, like he's a great person, but he hates making decisions, right? Like he's not a decision maker at all. Like he's great, he's brilliant, when it comes to making decisions, he wants to leave that to someone else, right? That's why he never managed a business. And all of a sudden, I was put in that position where, my dad is there, and I was like, I'm responsible for you now. You're not responsible for me. Like,
yeah,
so there were some difficulties then, and there was a bit of weirdness about it at the beginning. I think it took us about 6 months to overcome that. One time it ended up with him leaving the job site and yelling at me and cursing me, and I was like, oh, he's still my dad. He's not just an employee. Okay, not that I do this with the employees,
yeah.
by the way, but I did it with him because it was my dad. So yeah, just transitioning into that position was had a bit of weirdness for me. I'm
Yeah,
glad to hear that, not for you.
yeah, no, I definitely understand how that happens. We get along great. We've got a very close family, and it's it's worked out really well for us. Definitely a lot of stress with it though when you're worried about the next job coming in, and you've got your mother, your father, your partner, your
That you need to
brother,
support, right? That's
and
another
your
aspect.
sister-in-law. Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah. They're
and
not
it's like,
just employees; they're a family as well.
yeah,
You got to make sure you look after them.
yeah,
Otherwise, you're all going, you
yeah.
know.
I mean that extends to everyone that works for you. It's like if you go bust or if you make a wrong decision and lose everything and have to lay everyone off, it's not just them. It's their families. It's their kids that now
Absolutely.
they've got a parent that's unemployed. It's a pretty big burden to wear. I think
And
to
look,
anyone that's a business owner.
as a business owner, we'll always be shackled to the ups and downs of the industry, of the economy, how the business goes, right? And I think in my case, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you kind of like get addicted a little bit to that adrenaline, to that risk and that fear. I guess
Yeah.
it's weird. I don't know how to explain it, but
We,
it's like you get addicted to it, to
we,
that stress.
we've spoken about it a few times at home that when things are going too well and it's we don't have much to do, me and Linda get bored, and then we're just like, okay, what's happening? Like
Something's missing.
yeah, yeah, it's yeah, so we start looking for something more because I think the worst thing you can do is get bored, especially for us because we just we can't handle it really. So
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the drilling industry and where do you see the drilling industry? Where do you think it's at right now? And what do you think the needs are going to be, let's say, in the next 12, 18, 24 months? How do you see that?
yeah, so I think the drilling industry, more specifically talking about like slope stabilization, because that's where the area I'm in, it's a saturated market with work at the
Okay.
moment. Like it's expanded since I started in it. It's expanded a lot. Where there was three or four sort of companies doing it that I really remember at the time, and now it's been flooded with new companies. It's been flooded with work. No pun intended, but from the floods in
From the flood, yeah.
2022, 2023, Cyclone Jasper was the other one, Cyclone Alfred. It's just created a huge amount of work. And then COVID left a huge hole because our industry is dominated by mostly Scottish and English people. Uh, they all went home. So there was all this extra work and not enough people.
It was a vacuum of people, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of industries felt that. The problem was there was more work because of the floods that sort of coincided at the same time. So I think most companies, definitely us, were taking on people that didn't have the right skill set or enough skills to do the work, and you had to sort of try and make it work. And it's not from the people themselves not trying or not being hard workers or anything like that. They just hadn't had the exposure to get the experience that was needed, and
Yeah.
I think the industry suffered from that, and it's coming back now, and but we realize like we as a company need to actually make a difference to improve this. Otherwise, it'll just stay the same, and it'll, it's a recipe for disaster on quality, or at
Or even
worst,
safety, yeah.
someone getting hurt. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can lose money, and it sucks. But if someone gets hurt,
You can't come back from that, right?
yeah.
That's like
So
a worst nightmare for any business owner, for one of his guys, to get hurt. It it happened to me one time a few years ago in Victoria. Something fell on my head and I got hurt. I ended up in the hospital, and all I could say there, the first thing that I said on our group chat to everybody, to our 10 people, I said, I'm so glad that it was me and not you guys.
yeah, I remember you calling me a couple of days after that and
Yeah,
telling me
yeah.
about it. Yeah.
So going back a little bit with the equipment, what were some of the challenges that you've noticed and you experienced with equipment before?
Learn a couple of big lessons. I won't buy secondhand again, and I won't buy cheap again. Uh, Very expensive lessons. Trying to save money. It cost me a lot of money. Bought one machine, an excavator, that probably costs just a bit over $100,000 for the excavator, because it was 40,000 cheaper than the other one that I should have got, and probably cost me 100 grand in downtime.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's
Fair. Wow.
so yeah,
Unreal. That's big numbers there.
yeah, and it was very painful to go through it.
You see, I can't say those things too much. I can't talk too much about those things. Because of course, like I also sell, right? My company sells them, right? Yeah. But when they're coming from you, I think that's so valuable, because you've been there, you've experienced that, and you've had downtime and you've had costs associated with
Yeah,
that cheap
it's
equipment.
when you got 6 people sitting on site relying on one drill, and the drill's not running.
Yeah, that's painful.
You're running it. You could be running it $1,000 an hour, and it's down for a day. You've lost a $10,000 day, and if it's a bigger job, then that it builds up real quick, and all of a sudden your job hasn't made any money.
Yeah, absolutely. I did speak in one of the episodes when I'm talking about myself about the quality of equipment that we sell, about its support, and about the ability that we have, let's say, or we don't, we're still improving to keep the machine turning.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's one of the main reasons with Marini is the downtime is minimal. If especially on the slope drills, if you need to change a feed motor, as long as you've got another one there, it's a 10-minute replacement job, depending how far up a cliff you are. Getting the stuff there, like changing the top hammer over, it's 2 pins and 3 couplings. It's not a hard job. Physically getting it there is a bit harder, but the actual doing that, like the wear pads on them for the mast, I've never replaced them, and on any of them, none of them are really due for it either. So the wear and tear on them is so low that compared to other machines, that even if and not saying that they are, but even if they are 20 grand more, 30 grand more, it's worth it for the amount of time you have to spend working on them or
Working
getting
on
spare
them
parts.
and maintaining them, and
Yeah.
and all this stuff. Absolutely.
Safety is the most important thing. Like I was saying
Absolutely.
before, someone getting hurt is something I can't live with. Losing money, it sucks, but it's not the end of the world. In the way of like tax dollars being wasted, we go back to a project like 2 years ago where there was a little bit more of a landslip next to it. And we're like, oh, it'll cost about another 10 grand. We can finish this off. And it's like, no, that was part of the 2023 flood recovery, not the 2022. So we can't do it. It's not in this budget and that. So then they had to get someone in, a whole another contract, and a whole lot of the crew a year later to fix that small section of it up and mobilize a whole crew again, rather than someone being able to make the decision there and just go, spend the 10 grand now and save 100 next year.
Next year, wow.
And it's very frustrating when it goes
So
through.
what was the outcome? They choose bluntly not to do it, right?
They didn't do it, no.
Wow,
And
they
then
didn't do it. Wow.
this is actually just down the road from our place, and then another company had to go back there. So it's going through all the management plans again, all the traffic control plans, all the permits, everything that goes with it, just to get the job open again.
Wow.
Plus cost of procurement, all of that.
So
like
that's
procurement team in the
talking
government.
about wasting taxpayers' money, right?
Yeah, so it was a $10,000 job turns into a $200,000 job real quick.
Wow. Unbelievable.
And it's extremely frustrating to watch. And but not much we can do about it apart from raise it at the time, try and do it. Ultimately, it does look sometimes like we're fishing for more work, but why not just come and do the job and complete it rather than leave part of it and come back again and again and again.
Yeah.
So do it right the first time.
Talking about leadership, what were some of the, let's say, hard lessons, the most critical leadership lessons that you've had to learn? Give me three of them that you've had to learn through your career. In my case, if I can just say, the biggest lesson was to understand that leadership is something that you do every single day, right? Especially when you have a business. I mean, you do it at home in the family, you do it with the group of friends, but you do it with every single, it's leadership is not necessarily, it's something that you do, right? It's not something that you learn, it's something that you do. And yeah, of course you can learn it, but within, let's say, your company and within your colleagues, every single thing that you say and you do, it actually influences them. That's, in my opinion, that was the biggest thing that I've learned leadership is, you know.
Yeah, I think one of the main things I've learned is not to react on that, or not to react quickly at least. Not like someone says something to you, there's a complaint or something, and then come back in 20 minutes with the snap reaction to, oh, we can do this, without thinking it through. So I've really taken the time to step back and go, okay, try to take my emotion out of it, because at the end it's our company, and it's very close to our heart. But when you step back from it and then try and look at it from the other point of view, and you go, okay, well, this has merit, and not just reacting to it and jumping down someone's throat when you could be wrong yourself, because we're not perfect.
I guess trying to see it from the other person, like the other person's,
Yeah.
right? Try to put yourself in the other person's shoes, and think it from their level, whatever that might be, higher or lower, or the same as yours. But
I
yeah,
think,
definitely very good
I
lesson. The
think
second one?
not making a decision is worse than making a bad decision, and that so
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. I was just gonna say this.
yeah,
That's so
it's
important, right?
just having everyone stand there. Even if you make a bad call, it's like, okay, you made a bad call, but at least you made one. You've gone through and, like, this is the best thing I can do at the time. Sometimes you have to wait. You need to think about your decision, but if
Leaving
having
it too long
yeah,
is
it's bad.
it's very
It
costly, right?
upsets the guys. It upsets the client. Then the other one, I remember my old man saying as a kid, like, "Oh yeah, make sure you pick up that 5 cents. You'll need it one day." So it's not really the exact same thing, but the value of a $2 fitting,
Yeah,
and that of not having it. So
absolutely.
if you don't have that $2 fitting, and you're on site and you've got five guys there and that fitting's broken, yeah,
You just can't start. Yeah,
it comes a $3,000-4,000 fitting real quick.
absolutely.
So like, just having those little things
And it
is
happened for
important.
us in piling. The circlips that secure
Yeah.
the pins that the ropes are connected to the swivels, for
Yeah.
example. On a, let's say, 6-ton Kelly bar. We've had situations where we didn't have a spare circlip, or the drilling contractor didn't have one, and ended up being like a 2-3 day, of just waiting because of where the location was.
Yeah.
Just something so simple, and cost like, it was like $40 or $30. And the same with seals, right, with the O-rings.
Yeah.
Although sometimes, that I've seen people, they let it leak, and they continue drilling. They don't really stop, and then they fix it later. But when it comes to something so critical and so little, it's mind blowing how it can actually just keep so many people down, and create so much waste
Yeah.
of
I'd like to
financial
say that
resources.
we're the best with having spares, but we're not. There's stuff we're missing where you don't always kit out
I can tell you, because
everything
I
with
see
every
you are very
item.
good with spares. You are trying to mitigate, and I've
Yeah.
seen you always build a list of spare parts, and because I can see the requests coming through, and you're like, no, we don't need them like urgently. We have all the time, which is fantastic, by the way, because number one, you don't have to pay air freight, right? So you buy most of the things that can come, like, they have all the time to come, which is going to be more cost efficient. But secondly, it gives you that mental clarity, to go through them and have them ready if something happens.
Yeah. And I think it's important to have the stuff in the workshop at least, so at least you can jump in the car and you're in Sydney, and there's a big difference between sending someone down in a car to Sydney to pick up parts, or sending someone back out to the yard for a 2 hour trip over a 10 hour
Over
trip.
the 10 hour, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And we've had what we've also done with some of our biggest clients. They said, we'll buy from you, but we want you to assign a specific amount of spare parts component and give them to us to be in our stock, in our inventory. And then if we need them, we'll pay them to you. So we kind of
Hold
like
them on
put spare
consignment.
parts on consignment,
Yeah.
for them. But of course, those are for like higher value items, over $1 million, where we can actually afford, let's say the consignment, because they'll be there, for 2, 3, 5 years, and we did that, in order to create that sort of relationship with the client and create that trust and to ensure, let's say, the repeat business of that customer. That's something that we've done as well. What's the biggest misconception people have about the drilling, the work you do in drilling?
So I think a couple of things is to get it right. Some people that are in the industry go, "Oh, it's easy," and that it's not easy. To drill a hole in good conditions, that is easy.
That is easy. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
As soon as something goes wrong, you hit a void, you hit anything else, your grout pump blocks up, you have any, you do, you're doing your sampling for your QA. As soon as those things start going wrong, and it's not simple anymore. It's
Very difficult.
yeah,
Very stressing.
and if you look at it like you break it all down, it is relatively simple, but to get it right is a lot harder, and that because there's a lot of different moving parts that have to work together to make sure you comply with your specifications. And if you don't comply with your specifications, if your QA's out, you may as well just start again on the job and throw a whole bunch of money down the drain. Which and it does happen. Someone stuffs something up, and you have to redo work. And it's not
very
common,
costly.
but it costs a fortune. It can cost the value of the whole job, and then you still have to redo the work. The other one that is right and wrong is that the job we do, like hanging off the side of the cliff on ropes and drilling, is extremely dangerous, and it can be if you do it wrong. If you do it right, you follow the steps. You make sure your ropes have protection on them. You're not using faulty gear. Your anchors that you're using are in the ground far enough in the they'll hold the person's weight. You've scaled all the rocks down so nothing can fall on you. You've thought about your process, which is a lot of planning in this.
It's a lot of planning, absolutely, yeah. It's not easy at all.
If you get that wrong, it's very easy for someone to get hurt.
Someone can
and
die, yeah.
It's very seriously hurt.
Yeah.
If you do it right, and you're never really working in a extremely dangerous area. And if you are working in an extremely dangerous area, there's a better way to do it.
James, what's one piece of advice you wish you would have received in earlier in your career? Not necessarily in your business, but in your career. I can tell you with mine, the advice that I wish I would have had in my drilling and piling industry career was to listen to the people and to clients around me that told me to start earlier. I wish I would have listened to that.
Well, I started when I was 29, so I'm probably glad I didn't start any earlier than that. I probably would have been a bit too young. When it comes to stuff I'd want to know earlier, not responding too quickly. Oh, we touched on this before, but not responding too quickly, and you're not going to please everyone. If you try to please everyone, you'll
waste your time.
Yeah, you waste your time.
You waste precious resources.
When it comes to not responding too quickly, it's not just exactly with the team. It's like with clients, with not jumping through the hoops too quickly to try and get a job, because you make mistakes. You might look overeager. It might give a bad perception, and when it's the other one on not responding too quickly with the guys, like you need to think about your answers. They want a clear, concise answer, and if you give one and then change it and change it and change it,
Create confusion.
it does. It can
Absolutely.
creates a lot of confusion.
There's been a lot of times when I said things, and because I didn't think enough about them, but I was in a hurry to get the decision done, to make the decision. And then I thought about it. I was like, I should have said this. Maybe I should go back. And I was like, no, leave it bad. Leave it the way it is, because then I'm only going to create more confusion.
Yeah.
It's actually a better leadership model to actually, unless of course it's something super important, it's about someone's safety or something that involves a lot of money.
Yeah, and I know I do this as well, so I'm under no delusion that I get it perfect and don't change decisions. Sometimes there's a reason that not everyone knows the reason for. I do it, and I try not to, but it's quite hard to just stick with it when you know that the original decision you made was wrong.
It was a bit wrong.
Yeah, it does cause confusion, but sometimes it can't be helped. Sometimes it just shouldn't have been said in the first place. So.
Yeah. Right. You live and you learn, right? What role do you see the automation and all of the, let's say, artificial intelligence playing in the future of drilling, if you think this is going to have any impact at all?
In the physical drilling itself, for us, I don't think it's going to have a huge amount because it's...
Or if it does, we're going to be the absolute last, right, to be influenced by that.
Yeah. It still takes a certain amount of manpower to do it. The stuff that we found that, I've started using AI for, helping me write Excel spreadsheets, like writing the formulas up, doing that. It's helped me a lot.
Okay.
And, when you start getting into... the like VBA coding and things like that, which I've done in one or two spreadsheets myself that has it. No way I could do that without Chat GPT. And being able to.
How did people ever do it before?
Yeah, they actually had to know, right? I'm just getting through it. Like I can read it, but I can't write it or anything. And I'm far from that. Like one of the guys that we have with us, Mark, like he's quite good at it. But that's a career of learning how to do it, where I've cheated in that sense with, I've got this powerful tool right at the fingertips now that, even when it comes to writing a manual for something, you might have bits of information from here, there, and everywhere, and you can pull it together so quickly in a matter of minutes, and that don't get me wrong, you have to go through it as a person, and you have to check it.
Yeah, you have to check it.
If you're not doing that, you're going to make huge mistakes. But it's such a powerful tool to write documents and help. Like my emails now are making me look a lot smarter than I am. So because I can run a response through AI, and you can say make this professional but friendly, and it'll rewrite the email with the exact points.
Yeah.
So
basically, influencing, yes, in all the, let's say, adjacent aspects of our business, but not necessarily with the actual object of activity that we do, which is the drilling, which is exactly what I said in one of the previous episodes as well.
Yeah, it's I don't think our industry will ever take the physical need for people out of it, or you might, but we're
far away from that.
We're a long way away from that.
Yeah. All right, I think that kind of gets us to the end. Thank you so much, James. Thank you for your business, and thank you for accepting to do this. Wishing you best of luck on your personal endeavors, but also with the business. And I'm definitely looking forward for both of our companies to continue growing.
Yeah, no, appreciate you having me on here and taking the time and thinking of me to actually do this. So that's
thank you so much.
Look forward to the rest of the relationship together for the coming years.
Absolutely. So do we. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to TerraQUIP Talk. If you enjoyed this episode, the best way to support us is by leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube so you never miss an episode. You can also find out more from me on all social media platforms. The links are below. Until then, remember, if it's not turning, you're not earning.